Okay, in this video, we're going to be looking at switching over your cassette that you might be using for a road bike. And this is an 11 speed to something like this, which is a SRAM cassette. And so there's some tools you might need when making that change. And I do this frequently when I'm changing over from my road bike, if I'm going to do some training on the mountain bike or my gravel bike here. So if you need to switch your cassette, often that means that you need a free body hub that's going to be compatible with that cassette. So this is the SRAM free body hub. And you can see this is what's going to end up on the Kickr. So I need to install this so that it will be compatible with the correct cassette. So some tools you'll need, you're going to need a chain whip. You're going to need a 17 millimeter wrench. This is a 1-inch attachment to help remove the free body hub. This is the adapter that's going to be situated inside here, and the adapter will fit in there. So this is your torque wrench. Okay, so step one is removing the bike, and then we're going to remove the cassette from the Wahoo Kickr. Okay, so we got the bike off. One thing to note is if you are running disc brakes, you want to make sure you have a spacer, which is this little orange piece here that you're going to put in between the brake pads so that you don't accidentally squeeze that and it's going to compress those two ends of the disc brake. And then that makes it really difficult to unwedge those to get them properly positioned again. So you put that spacer in whenever you're removing the back wheel and the disc brake. So now this is what the Wahoo Kickr looks like without the bike on. So you got to remove these pieces at the end on each side. Okay. Now this spacer has options. So if you're running a road bike, right, you got to have it situated so it's 142. So you have a 142 option and 148 option. So the 148 is to accommodate a wider wheelbase. So on the 142, you'd run that for the road and it would be put in with the 142 on the outside. If I need to expand it for a mountain bike, for instance, the 148 goes in there like that and sticks out. So if you're doing a road bike, you'd have it the other way. So now to remove the cassette, you need your chain whip. And you need your adapter. So your adapter is going to go in here. And you'll see that will align with these cogs and situate in there, okay? Your adapter goes on that. Your torque wrench attaches here, okay? And then your chain whip you're going to use to help stabilize the cassette so you can remove the cassette. And then I'm going to be careful. I want to keep all this together. So it's unscrewed. And then the cassette slides right off. Let me set that down right here. So now you'll see the cassette is off. And you just have the free body hub here. So we need to remove this. And so you're going to use your 17 millimeter wrench. And you see the little divots where that lines up. And I'm going to loosen that. And then that's going to allow me to unscrew there. Okay. Place that down over here. And then free body hub should just slide right off. Okay. So we'll clean this up a little bit. Re-grease. You'll also see there's another spacer here which you want to keep on. You can remove it to clean, but you can see there's just a bunch of grime in there that I want to clean out. So I'll take that off, I'll clean that, and then we'll install the SRAM free body hub. Okay, so here are the two different free body hubs that I have. This one is the SRAM, and you can see there's no divots here that you would use for like an 11 speed, like a Shimano type cassette. So that's going to go for something like the SRAM cassette that I have set aside over there. Then you have your standard Shimano type cassette, or free body hub for a Shimano type cassette, and you can see the divots here, right, which you would align with whatever your cassette is, whatever cassette you're using there. I also have one you can see right there that's made for my gravel bike. Okay, so different gear range, different size, different spacing, but actually is compatible with the same free body hub. You also will have a micro spline, which some brands use, but I don't have that one. So you can see this is what the Kickr looks like with everything off. Okay, so before I attach the free body hub back on, I'm gonna add some lubrication here. So just some grease. Basically anywhere where there's threads, I'm gonna reapply. Okay. And I'm also gonna do that on the free body hub itself. It's a real art trying to do this one-handed. Not as clean as I would normally do. It's okay. Okay, so now we'll reinstall. Free body hub's gonna slide on. Wiggle it a little until it finds the correct placement there. Remember, I had the spacer is still on there. So spacer's on, free body hub. Sometimes you have to wiggle a little bit to find the right space. And then I want it to sit all the way against the spacer. So then I take my cassette and I'm gonna align it. And what I do is I find the largest divot and it correlates to a large divot on your cassette as well. So if you look at the spacing between, you'll find one that's a little larger than the others, and I use that as a guide for aligning the cassette back on.
Then you'll see you're going to start to alternate a spacer between each cog. Spacer. Spacer. Okay.
And same with these last couple. There's a spacer that you want to align to get it to thread properly. So I find that divot. But the one thing I did not do is I want to add that end cap back on. So before I get to the last part, is I'm going to put that end cap back on. You could have done this before as well. It's not going to affect you taking this cassette on and off, but it will affect it tightening down. So this is where I'll use my 17mm Allen wrench, and I want to just tighten it, not super tight, but just firm. And then I'm going to place finally that last cap on. Use my adapter and just to hand tighten it first to get it threaded correctly. Okay, and then I have this set, I think it's 40, let's see, I want it set to 40 Newton meters. Now chain whip's on. And that's on. Let's give it a spin. Spins well. Then we put the spacer caps back on. Again, depending on what I'm doing, 148, 142. I'm gonna put my road bike back on, so I'll do 142. And that's how you would set up your cassette if you're gonna do a swap.